In this video, you will learn how to introduce yourself in the IELTS speaking part 1. It includes how to say your name, how to talk about your hometown, home, work or studies. In addition, we're going to be looking at some exquisite tips and tricks to make sure that this exam is a success for you. Let's jump right in. Usually, when you arrive the exam center, you will be asked to keep your phone and bag depending on where you're writing the exam. After that, you will be allowed to enter into the examiner's office. Then the examiner is going to say hello to you. Do well to smile back and say hello. Note that when you start this test, they will be recording you. One exquisite tip you need to pay attention to is that you need to get to your examination center early. When you get there early, you can listen to some English speaking on your phone. It will also help you to be prepared mentally for the exam. Before the exam begins, you might feel nervous. It's okay to be nervous. However, you need to think positively. Never speak negatively to yourself. Be confident. Tell yourself you're well prepared for this and this is the time to show your ability. Do not be scared that you are nervous because nervousness is part of it. When it's your turn and your examiner invites you in and asks you to have your seat, smile and sit down. The examiner is going to ask you for your ID, your passport, or your national identity card. And then the examiner is going to ask you, what is your name? Just say your name. For example, I am Kweki Irene Ituha. He might probably ask you, what can I call you? Just say the short form of your name. For example, if your name is Samson, you can say you can call me Sam. The next thing is that the examiner is going to ask you questions on one topic, either your hometown, your home, your work, or studies. Now, bear in mind that this is just a warm-up for you, so you do not have to talk so much. Go straight to the point. This section is not a time to show how fancy or how grammatical you can be. Just give 2 to 3 sentences because your first impression matters. Imagine you sitting with somebody on a first date and the person is trying to show how fancy or how widely traveled they are. It is good for you to first of all introduce yourself simply before trying to impress at another time. Because in trying to impress your examiner, you might make 2 or 3 grammar mistakes that will make your examiner to have negative impression about you. Therefore, keep it simple and accurate. After this phase, your examiner will begin with the first question. Let's say the examiner asks you, let's talk about your hometown. Tell me about the town where you live. Sometimes this question can be confusing because your hometown is a place where maybe you were given birth to, and the town where you live could be another town and not your hometown. Note that the examiner is not really interested in where you live or your hometown. What he or she is interested in is for you to talk about your town. So you can pick your hometown or you can pick the town where you live and talk about it. You can say, I live in Ikeja. I have been living there for 3 years. Remember to keep it simple and accurate. After this, the examiner is going to ask you another question, although he has varieties of questions, but he might say, what is the most interesting part about that city? You can respond by saying, the most interesting part for me is that Ikeja is a commercial hub. It has an industrial estate that contains cotton textile plants that is among Nigerians' largest. And because of that, a number of tourists come into this country and also people who come to invest in Ikeja. Before we continue, I'd like you to subscribe to our exquisite channel by graciously clicking the subscribe button below. A subscription is absolutely free. Welcome to Level Up with Coach Irene. A number of students, when they are preparing for this spoken English test, they begin to write down instead of speaking. When you begin to write down this spoken English, you are probably going to produce a written English instead of a spoken English. When this happens, you probably talk like someone who has memorized, or someone who is reading a book, or even someone who is poetic. Rather, you should sound natural when it comes to you doing this spoken English test. How can you achieve that? When you see the question you want to practice, what you need to do is to speak out your answer. Also, record yourself. You can also write down what you said and do some corrections, but make sure you keep it spoken so it flows out of you naturally. In addition, if you write out what you said, do well to write it in phrases, in chunks. For example, this way it sounds more natural. But when you write it in sentences, you're going to sound like you've memorized or you're reading it out from somewhere. So what you have to do is to write it in phrases so you can sound more natural. The next question that is likely going to come up is, what kind of jobs do people do there? This question is quite dicey because in your head, you are thinking there are a lot of things people do in Ikeja. We have people who sell, who buy, we have people who work in the bank. So what is this examiner trying to say? You can answer in this fashion. A number of people work in the entertainment industry. However, we have a great deal of people working in the cotton and wool textile industry that Ikeja is known for. What the examiner is looking for is a specific thing that people are into in your hometown. If not, you can give him a general answer. For this question, you have to keep it short, simple, and accurate. Now, the next question will be talking about your home directing to your accommodation. Sometimes the question could be, let's talk about your home, or let's talk about your accommodation. What kind of accommodation do you live in? You can say, I live in a flat that is located at the center of Ikeja. It is not too small and not too big. It is quite comfortable. Here, you might want to learn things that has to do with houses. For example, detached house, tenement house, bungalow, a flat, or an apartment. You have to be familiar with these terms. So when you ask this question, you can easily speak to them naturally. The next question, the examiner is going to ask you, who do you live with? Funny, isn't it? Some persons might feel it's quite personal, like, why do you want to know? What if I live with my boyfriend? What if I live with my grandparents? Whichever way, the examiner is not really interested in who you live with. He or she just wants to hear you express yourself. So you can say, I live with my spouse. I've been living with them for 10 years. Or you can say, I live with my parents and I've been living with them actually. You can also say, I've been living alone since I left home. If you have a pet, a dog, a cat, talk about your pets. Whichever way, keep it simple, short, and accurate. The next question could be, how is your home decorated? Or what is your favorite place in your home? You can say, my home is decorated with, then you go on and on with how your home is decorated. Remember to keep it simple and short. To answer the second question, you can say, my favorite place in my home is my bedroom because I get all the time to read and do everything I want in my room. Finally, another question you will be asked about your home is, do you like living there? To respond to this question, you can say yes or no, but do well to state the reason why. You can say, I do like it because it's cozy and it's at the city center where I can easily access every other infrastructure when I need them. You could state the reason why you like them or why you don't, but make sure to state the reason, leaving it simple, short, and accurate. Now, the next question will be about what you do for a living. You will hear a question like, let's talk about what you do. Do you work or are you a student? You can actually respond by keeping it simple and interesting. Like, I work in a secondary school as a teacher. Or I am a student of Covenant University. I am in level 3. They might ask you, what do you do every day? I know a lot of people will start saying, I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I eat, then I go to work. No, that's not why they're asking you that question. All you have to do is to give a little bit of details of important things you do daily, like I teach online. I prepare my curriculum on what I'm going to teach daily. I teach people physically. In addition, I also give feedbacks to my students daily. To respond to this question, you have to be very particular about 2, 3 things that you do that are quite important. Avoid talking about everything you do from waking up to when you sleep. No. The next question will likely be, what would you like to change about your job? For example, I could say, I'm not big on writing curriculums. If I could, I would have changed that. It would be great to give someone else that part of the job to do. However, I enjoy my job. The next question could be, can you describe your work environment? Well, the work environment talks about the room where you do your job, not about the outside environment, but the inside your room. Furniture, the facilities, the people, the atmosphere you have at work. So you can describe the place, the things that you can find in your work environment. You can say there are about 10 of us in the office, or I'm on my own in the office, whichever way it is. You can say I work from home. You can conclude by saying the place where I work is quite a comfortable atmosphere where everybody gets on together and we work as a team. If you're a student, they might likely ask you, what subjects do you study in the university? Again, they'll ask you, why did you choose that subject? All you have to do is to tell them the subject you study and as well the reason why you chose that subject. You can say, I am an accounting student. The reason I chose that subject is because accounting allows me to work in a realm where every details matter. And I'm very meticulous when it comes to detail. This skill perfectly align with my demand as an individual. I will advise that you give 2 to 3 sentences in each question. That's it for today. We've talked about home, hometown, study, or work. I believe with this video you've gained understanding, and I'm certain you are going to be successful. Do well to like, comment, and subscribe to my exquisite channel. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.